Greetings. This is going to be Eden Zero, chapter 113, and this chapter was amazing. I thought with the with the introduction of this new arc, where we're pretty much introduced to some of the landscape with the floating fish. I thought that was very cool, and I was wondering if it was fish that was, no, if it was plants in the water and fish floating by, or if they were floating in the air. And this pretty much confirms they're floating in the air, so that's pretty much pretty cool. And I think it'd be really cool to see that animated one day because we are getting an anime adaptation of this, and hopefully we'll get this far. But for now, yeah, it looks, it's a pretty cool concept, fish just floating in the air, blah blah blah. And the first piece of what do you call it? The mystery, what's to come, is that they can't access the Wi-Fi, and there's some kind of firewall to the planet's Wi-Fi. And I thought that was quite a nice way to introduce a bit of a problem. And as we go further into the chapter, we kind of see why we might not be able to connect to the Wi-Fi due to the unique situation this planet has gone. I don't know, and it seems to be quite a recent thing as well. It's not like it's always been happening, a recent thing as well. And I did like how Rebecca wanting to go to some of the restaurants to review. It was a little foreshadowing for who we would meet later on in the chapter. um, her friend who was a food reviewer. I thought that was a quite a neat little foreshadowing technique he used there. Because it was pretty much a throwaway panel in the sense that Rebecca wanting to eat some food that in a restaurant anyway. But I thought the main ideology that is displayed in this chapter, it was pretty shocking to be. And well, on my first read, I actually my jaw dropped to see something like this, because I felt a lot of sympathy towards Shiki, and especially because he's quite a naive and innocent soul in a sense. He sees things like good and bad, and he wants all robots to coexist with humans. He sees that kind of future, and for him to see this kind of imagery, and this what do you call it, this ideology, pretty much, I reckon it would make him really upset and shatter his dreamlike vision that he always has for robot equality, blah blah blah. So, and I want to see how he feels about this situation. Obviously, he's, because he's very conflicted, because he obviously wants to help and live among his robot people, but he can't get bring himself to uh, even hurt any of the robots, because how much he cares about robots in general. So he's obviously having a conflicting, what do you call it, ideologies. Yeah, there's a conflict in his ideologies there, and hopefully will that will be developed further on in the chapter. But yeah, it was kind of, yeah, weird seeing robots enslave humans and treat them like pets. It makes you think about dogs in real life. Like, how do they feel and blah blah blah. But I did like this little interaction we have with two of the robots. Despite both robot people pretty much treating humans like pets, you can see there's even little differences in how they treat and their humans anyway. Especially Wilhelm and Kevin. I guess there's a fodder characters anyway, but you can clearly see that one of them actually takes care of his human. With the comment about how he looks nice and healthy, and whereas the other one contrasts, saying she lost her appetite and she might die soon. Pretty much neglect, I guess. So yeah, that was kind of interesting to see. And as Wilhelm kind of explains about his ideologies, his face gets blown. I thought that was pretty funny, and it was really sudden as well. Like, I didn't expect a robot to do something like that, and you can definitely see that these robots, well, especially this one in this instance, feels very strongly against humans, and that's probably why he mistreats his humans, and there's a lot of neglect, and that's why his human pet is actually starving to death. And I want to know what that stems from. It obviously stems from the hatred that this bot and probably other bots in the society have against humans, because uh, I reckon sometime in this arc we'll get a flashback to how badly these humans used to treat their robots. So it's kind of a taste of their own medicine situation. I feel like that's just my theory anyway. But yeah, I was kind of shocked to see, robot kind of shooting another robot's head off anyway. And yeah, everyone was pretty shocked. Even I was shocked, to be honest. I didn't think something like that would happen anyway. And yeah, I don't know why, but they decided to make the two robots actually know. I mean, the two humans actually know each other, and they're meant to be fiancés, kind of thing. And I don't know why. I keep bringing One Piece up because there's just so many similarities with One Piece in this whole show, pretty much. But I will assume that most people will have watched One Piece, and I kind of get this Dressrosa vibes from this arc, to be honest. Like the whole thing with the humans being used as pets kind of reminds you of the whole toy situation, something like that anyway. And we find out why society has turned 180 in this planet. It's because of Shiki, and he's kind of leaving a path of destruction for the crew to follow. And Shiki, his entity kind of reminds me a lot of Blackbeard in a sense when Luffy and everyone was pretty much following in Blackbeard's destruction. If we think back to the earlier arcs where Drum Island was under attack by the Blackbeard pirates, and Luffy and the crew pretty much saw the aftermath of their attack. And it's kind of a similar concept going on here, where they just have to deal with everything that Ziggy has done. And yeah, the thing is, with this one, Ziggy has had a huge impact on this planet, especially making all these robots kind of rebel against their human masters. And after they witness that, this looks like an enforcer type of robot. They pretty much he pretty much sees that these guys are, like what's going on over there. And I did find it funny how they improvised and they had Pino and Happy act like they're masters for these robots anyway. So that I thought that was pretty funny. And as per usual, there's always a little bit of etchy scenes going on here. And the interesting angles that Hiro Mashima likes to draw from. And he has one of Rebecca, pretty much bowing down as a dog, and uh, the- it shows a lot, I guess. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, I don't know why this robot guy just thinks he can, like, if if humans are treated like pets, like why would you just ask a random stranger to have one of his dogs? Like, no, he's not gonna give you a dog, is it? Even if he's got four, because the that's his possessions anyway. I did find it funny when Happy pretty much shouts at this robot, "You can't have her," and I in this instance, I didn't see the what do you call it, the point in Shiki actually getting involved in the situation because it hadn't really escalated that far, to be honest. So I feel like Shiki's involvement was a bit too early. He should have let Happy handle a bit more before he stepped in anyway. So I think that was the first mistake. And I thought it was really cool what the Wise did, where he just short circuits the robot. And in all instance, I think why should have killed him in all instance. Yeah, actually, let's talk about that. So the fact that Shiki actually talks about did you kill the robot, shows that even though this robot tried to take Rebecca away from him, he still cares about this like robots and doesn't want them to be harmed. So he asks him, "Did you kill him?" And obviously, Weiss is quite a nice man, and he only short circuited him for a minute. So it's pretty much the equivalent of a knockout in a sense. And yeah, so the reoccurring character actually helps him out. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. How is she already here? That's pretty crazy, I think. Anyway, but yeah, so it's kind of a nice coincidence, and it's nice to see reoccurring characters throughout the show, and it makes them feel like they're actually part of the universe in a work instance. So yeah, she pretty much tells us a bit more information about the whole situation with Ziggy coming over and stuff like that. And yeah, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen next, because like, are they going to solve this or anything? So let's find out. Yeah, and the chapter pretty much ends up with the robot coming. I think it's the same robot enforcer, but he looks a lot bigger and jacked, so he might have transformed, or maybe it's a different one. But he ends up with Shiki. Looks like he's about to throw down with this robot enforcer, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this arc is going to play out because I think it's quite a unique situation they've been thrown into. So let's see what happens. I'll see you guys then.